Okay, this is the USS Lionfish, SS-298, a World War II sub in Massachusetts. It's a destroyer, or no, this is Rhode Island. Hell, I don't even know where I'm at. That's the USS Massachusetts. And this is, it looks like some type of Corvette. But anyhow, I'm going to tour in here. That's the sail above the water. So let's go look at the sub here. Last time I did this was in Brazil. That video is up on my YouTube channel as well. So I'm doing this with one hand going down the ladders, but I'm an ex-sailor and we're here for a reunion of guys that I serve with on one of my commands. So this is the torpedo room. So look at the size of the torpedoes. A lot of people don't realize how big these torpedoes are. And these are even smaller than the Mark 48s that they use now, because you have to have a guidance system in there, and you have to have, of course, the warhead, you have to have fuel, and the whole propulsion system. Those are the torpedo tubes. So, you know, this is a really, really crowded sub. The people that did this are special folks. Look at all the valves. So, that's a video recording talking about getting qualified for submarines. The submariners get dolphins, but they don't just get them. You have to learn a whole bunch of different things on submarines, where all the air vents are and how to do each other's jobs. So that's a little commode right there. Not much privacy, right? Look at this little hole, just to give you an idea. Look how small that is. So I got to crawl through there. I'm 54, but good health, no issues. But I don't care if you're 18. That's a hell of a ride there. So this is where they prepare. You like that? That's part of your kitchen there. And this is where the probably the wardroom is. Yeah, that's where the officers eat. The officers and enlisted don't eat in the same spot. Nothing is wasted for space on a sub. Or even my ship, we didn't waste anything for space. Every little space is taken up with stuff. So that's where the captain slept here. So, but you see 3 bunks on top of each other, and you might think that's crazy, right? But that's how it was when I was on active duty on my ship. We had 3 bunks, just like that. When my brother was in the submarines, they didn't even have their own bunks unless you were, like, I think E6 and above. You just didn't get it because there's not enough room. You know, these are made for combat. They're not made for pleasure. So, really, really cool. So, this is going to be where all the controls are. These are breakers, circuit breakers, and things like that. But again, even if you're not in that area, you know, that's not your job. You have to know what all the stuff is. Normally, these wouldn't be here. This is so curious hands don't go touching valves and things like that, because this ship's, this submarine's got air in the ballast tanks and that, and it could even sink here. You start doing stupid stuff with valves. So this is it. Like down here, you'd open this up. There's a ladder going down here. That may go to the bilges or maybe the engine room. I don't know where it goes. Who knows? I don't know everything about this sub at all. So, you know, this is very, very complicated piece of machinery. And a lot of these guys died. A lot of these subs never came home. They went out on missions. And if the sub was going down like this, and, you know, somebody's depth charging them, they couldn't turn around. And then it just went to crush depth. which means the pressure of the water's so high that it just implodes and kills everybody. A lot of people died in these subs. The new ones are very, very safe, but the U.S. still has lost 2 nuke subs, the Thresher and the Scorpion. Russia's lost, I don't know how many, much more than 2. But, you know, it's dangerous stuff doing this, you know, going at sea, and even surface ships, so many of them went down underwater in storms and things. I've been in some really bad water where the propeller's coming out of the water, even on the ship that I'm on. So this is from the San Diego, so that's the ship that I'm on that we're having a reunion for. So this is what they would call the mess decks. You would sit down here and eat. And so they use this to prep food and stuff. The mess management specialists or the cooks would be doing this. So this is another hatch to get out. You know, and if you're underwater, you open that up and water's going to flood in. So this would be here, like would be a place maybe to watch a movie or hold a religious service or something like that for. This was an old ice cream machine, right? So they really try and make the sub guys, give them some creature comforts, but you know, they're underwater, so they don't have fresh fresh eggs and things like that. They'll all run out. So this is it. 52 submarines never came home. And this is from World War II. So this proves my point here. 3,131 men and 3,074 officers. They differentiate that. So that's what, 3,905? Or excuse me. Yeah, 3,505. So it's really sad. You know, all these subs. So they stay still on patrol. A number of surface ships and things like that. And those subs there are from either accidents or being torpedoed, depth charged, whatever like that. So Fairbanks Morse is a very famous company for engines. So these are Fairbanks Morse engines. I mean, really, really, really cool. Those are big connecting rods. And that's a connecting rod cap. This is the crankshaft going through here. The pistons are down here. Really, really cool. So all these valves and things like that, you say, how do you keep track of all this different stuff and yada, yada, yada? And the truth is every submariner has to know this, even now in the U.S., to get those dolphins. So they really have to cross-train. It's not optional. On surface ships, you can get enlisted surface warfare or surface warfare officer insignia. It sits above your ribbons, and then you have to learn a whole bunch of different things in different areas. But I did not get that. And I'm not going to lie and say I love the Navy and all that stuff. I didn't. I couldn't wait to get out. You know, when I was in and looking back, if I could do it again, would I have gotten out? The answer is yes. I still would have got out. Would I go in today? Absolutely not. Not with all this nonsense, political correct nonsense. Somebody uses the wrong pronoun and they run away. So stupid. But yeah, we're making like a paper army of people that, you know, their feelings get hurt and they'll run away. Very different times. The veterans here talking, and I'm only speaking for myself. A lot of us feel the same way. We would not encourage people to go in the military the way it's run. It's run by a bunch of pussies. You go to boot camp and they say to do push-ups, and you'll pull out a little card that says that, you know, basically you're stressed, you can't do it. We'll have a talk. So stupid. It's absolutely insane what's happening to our military and the country. But that's my political rant. Really cool being on here, but you see it's crowded. Like, where do you sleep? You know, you see it's going to be a struggle. Right? Really going to be a struggle. So there's your commode right there. I mean, you can, you know, maybe you can't flush the toilet, right? You got to be really, really, really cognizant of the fact of noise here. You can't be dropping things. Sound travels in water much further than air, you know, outside. So you have to be really, really, really careful. This is really cool. General Electric. That was the last of the companies on the Dow Jones Industrial Average of the original 30. So this is the whole electric side of things. So you could read this here too. I'll read this because I don't think it's going to show in the video. The ship's 2 propellers were driven by the 4 main motors, which are directly below the space. When the submarine operated on the surface, power for the motors was provided by generators driven by the 4 diesel engines. When submerged, power for the motors was provided by battery storage. The batteries were recharged when the submarine returned to the surface. Yeah, so, yeah, this is really cool. This controls all the battery systems on it. What a cool thing. If the environmentalists had their way, they would say, like, you're not allowed submarines. They're bad for the environment. Freaking morons. Look at this. Yeah, twin props. So this is the aft torpedo room here. So, I mean, this is really, really cool. So this is a hollowed out one, so you can kind of see, but, you know, all the stuff's missing what it is, and it tells you what it is. I'll put that on in case anybody wants to pause the video. There's just so much to see here. Torpedo problem. Yeah, basically that a lot of people complained that the torpedoes weren't exploding and things like that early on in the war. And the Navy didn't believe it. And eventually they thought, hell, these guys are right. They fixed the torpedo problem. And the U.S. submarines were then kicking ass all over the place. So, really, really cool. So, that's it for this sub. And this little guy here, little destroyer. These destroyers have multi-faceted setup of transferring supplies as needed, offshore bombardment, killing submarines, all types of things. So, you know, do I really want to see this? Nah, not really. Thinking I was in a Navy, so I already saw this crap. But this is an older one. And that's it. Now I'm going to walk on the... matter of fact, I'll just walk on this and keep the video going. How's that? So look at that. That's 40mm Bofors, I think. Which is ironic because that's what my grandfather was a loader for the gunners in World War II. He was on the USS Cairns, fought in Philippines, Iwo Jima, told me about all the kamikazes, and I got a copy of his cruise book. It was all real. Absolutely went through hell there. His ship was attacked so many times. He lived, and my grandma, they're both passed, said that he had changed so much coming back from the war. you know, it's really sad because a lot of people don't know what happens really. And even the guys that are in, they train for war all the time. So this will give you the idea of the sheer size of this thing. So I want to put my little ugly face over here so you kind of see. So my group here, for the guys that I serve with on the San Diego, are touring all over. It's a free tour, like meaning you can walk all over the place. So, wow, I wonder where my grandfather would have went on this. A gunner would have been there or there, I don't know. He might have been right beside it. But I mean, he was under heavy attack. It's really clear they were under serious amounts of attacks. Massive battles off the coast of the Philippines, which the U.S. crushed the Japanese eventually and allowed the Philippines to be free again, as the U.S. forces landed with MacArthur with his "I shall return" promise. He was a colonel at the time and left Philippines, so I've been in Philippines, in Mindanao, Cebu, Luzon, and Philippines would still be speaking Japanese if it wasn't for the U.S. But the sacrifice of the Navy in Leyte Gulf, the Battle of the Philippine Sea, should always be remembered. Always be remembered. So my grandfather fought all there and around. But look at the size of this thing. So you see, that's an old radar system up there on the top. Actually, that's fire control. So it would adjust, you tie that into the guns, and then they can train the guns to hit the target better. So the U.S. was the first to have the radar, and a lot of people didn't know. The UK also had it around England at the time. I like history, but this is a big boy. So this gentleman here in a wheelchair is from the original San Diego, World War II. So we invite all the people. Where they have a third San Diego now, which is an LPD, you know, different type of ship. But the Navy recycles names. A lot of people don't know that. So I'm gonna kind of sneak by over here and excuse me, sir. And
he wants to tell you, he was on these guns, and he was the gun captain, and he got the business because everyone, when they were attacked on that side of the ship, got to go in and get protected except for him. But he said he got a man because he didn't have to lift on stuff.
pay for one, get the other. It's a shame. Hello there, suppo, sir. I'm filming. You want to show your face on YouTube?
That probably scared the shit out of me.
You hear that? He said it'll scare the shit out of people, maybe. I don't know. A supply officer from the USS San Diego, retired as a captain. That's a very high rank. So a lot of people think a captain's a captain like an 03, but a captain in the Navy's an 06. I don't know whose bright idea that was to figure out all the different ones, but it's a really tough rank to make, especially in supply. It's even harder, I think, than a line officer to make a captain. So, yeah, you see this, folks up here, it's a really high, so this is, that might even be, what, 06 level or something up there?
Probably.
Yeah, so they go up to show you the sizes. So let's just go in here. I don't know where I'm going, but we'll just kind of go in here. Oh, wow. So check this out. These could be, yeah, this looks like here where you would do depth charges. Yeah. Or, yeah, I think this is depth charges. Yeah, that would make sense completely. So, Nope, I'm wrong. I'm absolutely wrong. So those are the powder shots. So they didn't have bullets per se. So you would actually go and load the powder and then the projectile, just like the really big guns. Again, I'm not sure if these are 14, 15, or 16 on here. So get in the wardroom. That's where the officers eat. One of my fears, and for many sailors, is going down with a ship. So you got to know exactly where you're on the ship and how to get out. It's going to come natural to you, but you should really be cognizant of where you're at. Even when I was in, we were hit with a U.S. submarine, the USS Norfolk 714, SSN 714, a Los Angeles class fast attack hit my ship. That was January '89, and was not good. Absolutely not good. My ship was very, very close to going to the bottom of the Atlantic. So you think, what's this, right? Take a look at this. That's called Hell on Earth Unleashed, if you get. This is the yeah, that's the guns here. So we're gonna see. I want to see what this is. Excuse me 1 second. So I'm not sure if these are. Yeah, so these are 16-inch. Wow. Really, really cool. So, yeah, look at the size guns of this. I mean, that's my finger right there, and that's far away. I mean, they're much longer than a car, believe me. They're the size of 2 cars long, 2 big cars. Actually, they're the size, if you go all the way to where the gray meets there, they're 3 cars long. If they're compact cars, they're 4. I mean, they're big. They'll fire over 30 kilometers. I think 21 miles. So they're good. Again, another Bofors mount. So my grandfather was a cook, and when General Quarters came, he was a loader. Same with me. I had a regular job, which varied depending on what was there, and then I had at one point I was a loader on a 3-inch 50 mounts. Another time I was trained to do the 1JA, the Captain's Battle Circuit. I was right beside the captain with damage control boards and things like that. And that was my duty station when the sub hit. So we're going to go down here and show you some different stuff here. So you're going to say, that's not steep, but believe me, it's almost straight down. So I got to be careful. You'll see if you look here, this is actually how they have it in the Royal Navy too. Sometimes, or they'll have it with just polished stainless steel, but this here is just wrapped. But polished stainless steel is really easy to slide down when you're younger. So I was actually very, very good at it. Could I do it now? I don't know. But, you know, you got to be in shape to kind of go through here. Howdy. So, well, this is cool. 1948, President Truman desegregated all U.S. Armed Forces. I got to tell you, as far as the military and being in the military and that, it's very, very integrated. All your blood goes the same. I don't give a shit. I don't care if you're gay, you're straight, you're ugly. I care if you do your job. I don't care if you're black, you're Indian, white dude. I really don't care. You learn very quickly about you know, that you got to be integrated. You're a fighting unit. So that's it. This is a lot of the Gator freighters had these. LPH and stuff. I was on the Guam TAD for a little bit. Actually, before I was in the Navy, I was a Sea Cadet for 4.5 years. So, and they had give you this little crappy mattress. I mean, the conditions are not nice. You know, you're a combat vessel, so you're not there for any other reason other than fighting. So look at that hatch. These are called dogs, and you seal that, but look at the armament on there, and that goes down into the engine room and stuff. People are dropping money down there, so.
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So as you look around here, I guess that's what, well, I might thought it was radio room, but I'm completely wrong. We would call that the AR shop, maybe? I don't know, that's, you know, they have their own little machine shops on these ships. You can't call AAA or anything, right? Like, you have to do anything, sure. You have to be able to fix everything. So we were broke down for a short period at sea for a couple days. We were on emergency generators on there, and just kept things going, and you know how we had to function. We had a fire on the ship a couple different times. One was in the main space. We trained for the worst of the worst, which was fire in the main space, fuel oil leak, and we had one. So stuff like that are ship killers, right? So look at the size of this. That's all armored, real thick steel. So I'm gonna go down here, and I'm gonna go sideways because I'm doing one hand right now. But I gotta tell you, this is really, really steep. Oh, damage control central. Okay, so when the ship, see, there's boards and things in there. When the ship gets hit, this is where they control everything. And this will show you, look at that. So you gotta, this is how it really is. These are dogs to close the hatch. Everything's watertight. So when the ship gets flooded out, if you close all these doors and try and keep air in it to keep the float, if not, the whole ship goes down. So if you have people trapped on the other side and it's flooding out, you can try and get them out quick. Other than that, you gotta lock the thing, even if they're still down there, because if not, you're gonna lose the other people, the ship, everything. So you gotta make some calls like that. Thank God I never had to do anything like that. If you let everybody through and all this other stuff and waste time, you might end up dying along with everybody else. And the objective is to keep the ship going so it can still stay in the fight. So again, the biggest fear for me was, look at the turret size. So the gun is up in here, and there's a whole reciprocating assembly so the turret can swing around. Yeah, my fear was always, you know, hey, getting stuck underwater. So it is what it is. So this is all part of the gun system. Sick call line. So if you're sick, they have a corpsman on. We had a couple corpsmen on my ship, and we had one doctor. If you have appendicitis or something like that, I mean, they all know how to do all that stuff. You know, if you're dead, they're not pulling in port. They're going to zip you up and throw you in the freezer and offload you when they can. The guys in the subs, you have to be dying for them to pull up. And even if you're dying in certain circumstances, they won't come up, period. Everything is about the mission. The mission is to keep the country safe. So it is what it is. Look at this. Water level on what? That's what I want to see. Ballast tanks, maybe? Yep, it is exactly what it is. So there's trim system here where you stabilize the ship. If it's leaning like this or this, you can flood or add pressurized air and something to trim the ship up. It is what it is. I don't know what the hell that is. Sterilizing room. Diet kitchen. I don't know what that is. Who knows? But I mean, these places are huge. You could be here all day just filming. People have no idea how big these rooms are. All these were all beds. You don't waste space like this, right? You always keep every little piece of things used. So, for example, when this is deploying, let's say to World War II, they might have boxes down here, something like that, of food or something, or canned goods or something. So, you know, you can't afford to waste space. So you see these Z's, you'll see X, Y, and Z. Depending on the condition, they would say Zulu, right? They would say set condition Zulu or set X-ray. Zulu means X, Y's, and Z's hatches are closed. So when you're at general quarters, you're in Zulu. X-ray is like underway. Yankee is X's and Y's are shut down. Like that's for combat patrols. So you'll see these rail systems here. Like this is a rail, right? Something slides down here to move stuff. So that's what this is for. And that tells you how much, you know, how much you can put on there. So I'm gonna walk back up here. I'm gonna eat on this ship with my shipmates. So a lot of the guys that I was on, Ed Smith and Kurt Wolfmeyer and John Maynard, and I'm trying to think of some of the other guys. Joe Heiser, like these guys that are going to be watching this video. Gordy, I mean, so many different guys were just, you know, didn't come, and we miss you guys. We need the younger guys to come. We really need the younger guys to come. So, as people are going to forget, like, you know, what this is all about. So the new San Diego, where we integrated them with our reunion, but we didn't have any of those guys in here. So mess tech should be here. So this was the old mess techs. Pretty cool. I like that. So, anybody that stayed for the video, you know, there's a camaraderie. I'll just show you this over here. The ship. There's a camaraderie amongst military people in the U.S. Very, very high. Being in 24 countries in my life, the U.S. treats its military the best, which coincidentally was a nickname of my ship, the best, the San Diego. You know, the U.S. is always in conflicts, kind of the world policeman, because we have the resources, and try to be the defenders of freedom. So the Navy and amongst other services are always deployed around the world, and I'm proud of have served in the Navy, but I also want to thank the people for supporting the U.S. military. There's a really, really clear of their support. But, you know, so many people didn't make it back home from different services. And some people that I know well are deeply affected. So I'm a DAV officer. I'm our benefits officer for DAV Chapter 10. I'm on the State Veterans Board in New Jersey. And I'm our judge advocate for my chapter, DAV 10 in New Jersey, all as a volunteer. So if any veteran needs my help, you can always call. I'm free, 856-300-5138. That's my business line. Just ask for Gary. I'm here to help all the vets. And with that, I thank you very much, and God bless you all. Take care.